Right, thanks for joining us. Today we've got Brian Green of Walsall Wood. Thank you very much for joining us, Brian.
Thanks, Kev. Thanks for inviting me.
What's your role at Walsall Wood?
I'm the chairman of the Saints, Junior Saints section. Basically, the company got 32 teams running from academy up until under 16 JPL. So we've got a lot of hard work ahead of us, yeah, but we're going from strength to strength, so it's good at the moment.
Brilliant. Is that boys and girls?
We have got some mixed teams, a couple of girls within our boys section, but obviously we've got a predominant girls section as well. So yeah. Ian Sylvester is the chairman of that. He runs that sort of thing. So what we do bounce off each other. Sometimes if some kids are not getting a game, girls, and they do want to play or strengthen up, we tend to join in with the boys. So it's quite decent there. So
there's a good pathway to get to the first two for both men and
women. We're very fortunate, Kevin, because basically we've got a massive route into first team football, which is non-league football, and from the top to bottom there's just a gap of 3 years where the reserves should be actually kicking into play, so we've not quite got to that reserve point. So over the next 2 years our transition under 16s, we're going to Midland Football League on a Thursday night, and then hopefully they'll carry on into the reserves and it'll break that gap, so we've got a current flow straight into our non-league first team, which is great.
Fantastic.
So, fingers crossed that happens.
Yeah, it's been a good start to the season for the Wood, really.
Walsall Wood as a whole, Mark Swan come in to start the season. He left us a few years ago, got us a great trip down to Guernsey, so it worked for us. Brilliant gentleman, and he's back in now. So previous two managers, fantastic blokes in Dan Boyful and Gary Birch. They've helped us massively as a club, stepping up every so. So yeah, things are good at the moment, but it's a long season and anything can happen at the moment. So
Dan Boyful, ex-Villa.
Yeah, he was ex-Villa and Walsall, cracking gentleman, lovely bloke.
And he was here last season?
He was here last season. We got beat by Ilkeston by a mere 4 points goal difference to win the league. So, but to be fair, and I'm sure boys will agree with me, a couple of games we should have, where we drew 1 each and things like that, we should have been putting them to bed. So it's one of those things.
It makes a huge difference at the end of the season, doesn't it?
And you know as well as I do, Ken, football is a horrible game when you're up against the cosh. And respect to that team last season, we are carrying it forward into what we're producing this year, but it just wasn't our year last year. This year, hopefully we get it right. So Mark, it's all your fault.
The good thing about it though, Roy, it seems to be like an upward curve with Walsall Wood at the moment. As a general, the ladies team and the men's team, there seems to be such an upward curve.
It is, yeah, definitely. We are getting stronger. The ladies, they stopped for a year due to a few injuries and restructurisation with the girls. And this year, they've gone from strength to strength. Brand new team this year, so it's exciting as well. Obviously, I'm predominantly more of the boys, but I come here to watch the Walsall ladies and the West Bromwich Albion ladies that actually use our facilities as well. So it's massive for us, and you know, one day we should have a really good, decent team out there coming the ladies. But fingers crossed, it's going the right path.
Brilliant. Like I said, the West Brom Albion ladies
they're brilliant.
As well.
They're brilliant. It's massive for Walsall Wood, that is, because they're here, they're using our facilities, they're putting us up on the women's map, which is massive in football these days, and they're a really nice tidy side. But let's hope some of the Walsall Wood lady girls can get into that team one day. But it might be a step too far, but brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, some young girls in the Walsall Wood ladies as well.
Yeah, there is,
yeah. One of the main reasons today, Brian, was obviously November is always a time that people always remember. November 11th, and we have Remembrance Sunday for the brave young people who kind of gave their lives really for this country, not just this country but other countries out there as well. You know. And one of the reasons with yourself, Brian, you've got a lot of history with the army.
I haven't served. Yeah. It can be a bit tricky talking about military days, but I've got a lot of positives, a few negatives that I won't talk about, but I've been a very lucky soldier in my career. Obviously, a few things that we'll speak about later on. It's been brilliant, and do you know what? Remembrance Sunday is massive for me. My particular team, Walsall Razors, I really encourage that we go and do a parade. Most of my kids now know exactly how work we've been with since we're 6 and 7 years old, so we go and do the local parade, which is down at Walsall Wood or Brown Hills. So, and then we kick on the week after, and the lads will say to me that when the first time we done it, why did we do that? So you explain why we did it, they do it at school, the history, but I just think the history of about our British forces needs to be a bit more in depth.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's hard. It's probably a bad weekend for myself, but it's also a sense of pride as well.
Yeah.
Because obviously being an ex-serviceman, it's fantastic, and the British Army, we're very lucky what we've got, very, very lucky. Many regiments throughout our culturalisation of footballing as well, so it's great. It's a good transition from being a soldier to play football as well for actually the British Army first team, so it was fantastic. But remember the Sundays, a must for everybody. You've got to be getting them poppies on, by the way.
I've got mine on at the moment.
Yeah, you have indeed, I've spotted that.
Yeah. But how did you get into the army? Because obviously you were quite young at the time.
I was, yeah, I was 17.
Were you actually playing football for anyone at the time as well?
Just basically, I joined as an army cadet, to be honest. I was in the army cadets from the age of 12, and went through the cadet system, and I finished the cadets at 18, what I'm going to do myself. So, in the course of the 18 and 17 year gap, that I'll go back slightly a bit of a year, I was going to join the junior leaders, which they've scrapped that scheme now. Right. But I joined the Royal Artillery junior leaders. So I did it for a year, post year, and then I went regs. Staffordshire Regiment, which is a massive regiment in Lichfield, is actually amalgamating now into the Mercian Regiment with three different regiments. It was brilliant, but the reason I joined the forces was, it was an older gentleman. I was a bit of a character as a young lad. Come from a very, very poor background. So myself and 4 brothers, my mum looked after the force, my dad was also in the force, who had gone away. And she fended for us, and I was a bit of a naughty lad, and a young police officer took a shine to me, and he actually said to me, Brian, he says, Brian, he says, I'm going to tell you honestly now, mate, he says, you're either do something with your life, or you're going to go down the wrong route. And he actually took me to the Army Careers Office in Canada. And he took me the first time, and I was a bit shy, a bit naive, yeah. Give it the big one before I got there. But the minute I got through the door, I was in Michelle, and these boys, they actually done an entrance test, and I found it quite comfortable. And I come out and go to my mum, I ain't joining the army, I'm not going in the army, I don't care what he says, I'm not joining the army. And all and behold, I had an appointment for a fitness test in September, and the intake was in the October. So basically, he come and picked me up again. Dan Mills, he was a lovely gentleman, he's passed away now, bless him. He believed in me, and somebody didn't see that in me before, and he did. He knew there was something I could bet myself with, being from a poorer background, a council lad kind of thing. So he believed in me, and he come and picked me up again. Went and done my fitness test, went Whitson Barracks. Now 3.5 mile run, and I absolutely smashed it, and I thought, this is it, yeah. So he comes to me, I said, well, what options have I got then to join? He said, well, to be fair, mate, he says, yeah, I think you're infantry all day long. I said, no, I want to go in the Paris. And he went, no, that's the next step kind of thing. So for Mr. Mills, I mean, he saved my life, really. He put me on the straight and narrow as such, so massive respect to him, but, you know, rest his soul. If it weren't for people like that and believe in other people, I don't know where I'd be now. So I'm lucky I can talk about it in a positive way, because it could have been so different for me.
Your life could have turned...
Oh yeah, definitely, because, you know, like I say, I mean, a council lad, we didn't have much money behind us as a family, so we literally fought for everything we had. And it was scrumping back in the day. I mean, you can show my age when I mention scrumping, you say that now, nobody knows what it is. But we used to go scrumping, you know, we used to pinch neighbours' bottles of milk off the drive and stuff like that. But
so if the neighbours are listening now, they know exactly what you're talking about.
I've always said, you know, thank you for your milk. but do you know what? If it weren't for that, Mr. Mills, I think, I'm not saying it would have been in that path, but I think I could have got into a group and kind of been off straight.
That word there, believing in someone as well, is that something that you bring into your culture as well?
Lucky for me, because of what, you know, Mr. Mills actually put his time and effort into me, I believe more in not only my son and my kids, but the team ethic of Walsall Wood FC. Our saints, a lot of kids that will drop the shoulders when it comes to football. You know, you could be 3 or 4 nil down, but you've got to look at certain positives with football. And it's, if you improve in baby steps, you've got to look at their ability and make it and highlight it so they know that you appreciate them. And if they believe in themselves, you'll go a long way, whether it's a small amount or whether it's a large amount. Some excel. Hopefully one day we might have a Walsall Wood representative who becomes a professional footballer. In the current squad we've got a couple that were. So that's their highlight. Fingers crossed, you never know.
Absolutely. And just going obviously back to yourself, Brian, where you've got into the army. How did you get into football? Because you get into the army obviously there as a soldier, as you say. What brought the football side?
Well, obviously basic training, we passed basic training, and obviously the lads, we get a good rapport with each other. You have a good crack. So the battalion, the Staffordshire Balance Battalion, we had a first team, and you play other regiments. So for instance, you play the Paras, you play the Seniors, you play all different types, the Navy, the RAF, you play all these guys, but the RAF are not very good. But to cut a long story short, so I represented my battalion and played football for the battalion a few times, and then one of the army first team guys come down, obviously spotted on my had a bit of a little talent, and he nurtured me and he said, you know what, keep playing the way you are, you might get come up to the army representative team. I said, oh brilliant, fantastic. A couple of months went by, I didn't get this call up, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm the best footballer there, and it didn't happen. So the year after, we come back from Afghanistan, and the year after, I got a call up, and it was great. I never made the squad for 2 months. I was in the squad, but I weren't playing. I was sub, I weren't quite good enough. Getting the odd warm-up game here and there, when playing the prison service and the police service and stuff like that. But I was enjoying it. And then they do like it's an inter-league cup between other UN nations, and we played Norway, and that was my first call-up. And it was brilliant. So I come on for the last 15 minutes. It was already 2-1 up. I'm not saying I won the game. So we come on and we actually won. Wow. And it was fantastic because that was my first army call-up as such. Even though I represented the army team, I was actually involved in that game. And it went from there. But my style of football and today's style of football is totally different. Back in the day, it was one of them guys where you can get away with a nice challenge and stuff like that. It's now evolved.
Yeah.
So our style's changed now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking the Brian Robsons and Stu Pearces of the world. Yeah, but they're probably outlawed now with their tackling.
Well, I sorted the odd charity game now, and I still think I can do what I did there, and you can't. It's all about pace and movement and shape, and the basics now are just phenomenal. Yeah. The basics we had back then was, let's get stuck into these guys, let's win the war before it actually kicks off. And them days have changed. We had a good side, but we did come stuck now and again. So, I took my hat off, I enjoyed it, it was fantastic, but, I wish I could change certain things and aspects of how I played. Maybe I'd have played more.
I mean, obviously, there's things you can't talk about with army, and you have to be, obviously, understandably very careful. With the football side, maybe, how was your experiences after that first? Because the first game was probably...
It was brilliant, to be fair. Yeah. It was a luxury.
And there weren't
if Ronnie Walker's watching this, he'll tell you. Basically, it was a privilege. Yeah. If you're representing your regiment or the actual armed forces itself, you had privileges and you got away with a lot. I mean, we went on tour quite a lot. So, for instance, you could have 2 months away from your army life. The rest of your guys could be out on, they could be out doing all kinds of things in Africa and stuff like that. And they knew, and there was a lot of boxers as well that got privileges, and you're representing your country, the British forces. And so it was lucky. I was lucky. I got away with certain things. I've got a lot of things, and I've done a lot of things that, do you know what, it's the best time of my life. Yeah. But it was luxury. Yeah, if you could get in that team, it was a honour for the British Army. But you had easy duties. So, the guys who didn't make it, I'm sorry by the way, but the guys who didn't make it, they're just stuck on normal duties. So
it's in the back of your mind, I imagine, especially the guys who are close to,
Mate, I mean, I'm not going to get into depth about certain things, but you know what, guys who talk about it, it's difficult. Yeah. Within our own circle, it's easy to express ourselves. I mean, PTSD now is absolutely massive. Yeah. Lost a close friend of mine a couple of years ago, bless him. But it's there, it's real. And lucky for me, I had the football to fall back on, so it took me away from that aspect. But, the British Army have got it right. We just need a bit more support off it. So.
I was just going to say, obviously it's really tough, obviously mentally. Football probably took that kind of that mind off things, all that all
took the
kind
edge
of
off
thing.
it.
Yeah, it took the edge
Took
off,
the
yeah.
edge. You know, if you got a call up for the team or your battalion team, if you got a call up, it was great because you knew you was going to have 2 weeks, you know, a month of easy duties representing your particular unit, and it was fantastic. But then you're back, you've missed 4 weeks out, you're back in your normal regime, and that's where the transition was a bit difficult. But I can only talk about the football side of things. It was good. Football was brilliant. It was fantastic.
What was you actually? You mentioned before you're playing different like the RAF, and what was that like actually against?
It was very competitive, and you know what? You all want to win. And we played the RAF there at Portsmouth, and it was a bit rough. And I actually got to be captain of that team, and it was a bit rough. We beat them 2-1, but it was fisticuffs at the end of the game. But do you know what? We all got in the bar after, all got in the naffy, a couple of drinks. It was great times. But looking back now, you think, do you know what? What could I have done different? Nothing, because it was enjoyable. At that specific time, it was about, you know, I'm having this game and that's it. But you know, we played the Paras in our interleague and different kettle of fish. Marines never had a really good side, to be honest. Yeah. But the Paras, they were rough. They were a good team, and rugby as well. Them boys just were mustard. But we actually beat them on the occasion, so great to fame. So.
But it brings people together, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, without shadow of doubt. And it's a great life because I mean, any young kids now wanting to join the British Forces. Okay, you've got the conflict side of things, but there's a lot of opportunities. I mean, for instance, I probably wouldn't have learned to drive. I probably never got my motorcycle licence. I probably never had my HGV licence, although I don't use that now. All these things come to me. I probably never learned to ski. So all this was put in front of me. You can do all sorts of courses. You can come out there with better education and do it at school. Because they believe in you and they want to strive and push you forward.
Learn a trade as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's loads of trade. Obviously I'm an MOT tester now. Never a mechanic in the forces at all. But you get that belief. I mean, I was poor at school, come out of school, no GCSEs. When it's the forces, they show me how to live, become independent, paying your digs money at the end of the month, coming out your wages even though you was gutted, staying on barracks. It was fantastic. And it learns your basic skills, but when you come out, you've got to transition it into everyday life, and that's the hard bit. Coming back into Civvy Street from being nurtured is quite difficult.
You're on your own 2 feet.
Definitely, yeah. You're in the deep end, because a lot of guys, you know, you are bread and buttered in the forces, and you are well looked after. You pay your way, but you're well looked after. And you learn your trade, you learn what you want to do. I mean, I was a rifleman, it was fantastic, and great time, but the army and football was probably my highlight.
Brilliant. I mean, we've spoken before, 1914 Christmas Day truce, where the British and German troops kind of played football. It must be so surreal to do that, and then the following day back to conflict. Did you find that with yourselves, like playing football and then having to go back? It was kind of still a tough transition back and forth at times. Do
you know, I wish I could answer them guys back in the day that, you know, Christmas Day they get up and play football. I wish I could answer them. I take my hat off to any of those people who served at that time. It was easy for me. I had probably the easy option with football. It was a luxury for me to go and play football. So to compare it, I get it. I mean, I played against Germany. Yeah, we got beat, but I played against Germany. It was fantastic. The British Army team played the German Army team. We lost in the semi-final, and then Norway actually went and beat the Germans, but that's a long story. But compared to the German and the British forces on that day, to get up, singing all in the trenches, getting out, playing a game of football, getting back in, getting their head down for a couple of hours and back at it, I couldn't get my head around it. No. The British shoulder now, there's mostly guys who are infantry, okay, we do a lot of street fighting. Northern Ireland, for an example, done a lot of patrols. Afghanistan, the Gulf, all them kind of things was, you know, was street warfare, but it was different back then. Yeah. We've got a lot more technology now that helps us, and them boys were brave. They were brave. We're brave. The soldiers. I won't say I was myself. I wouldn't say I was brave, but the people around you had a lot of holder heads in my regiment. So I was always had my arm. Somebody always had the arm around me, and it helped me. So, but to do that on Christmas Day. Yeah. How brave they got.
It's a story that's always got me.
It's unbelievable.
And like you said, it was interesting. Just you played with other forces.
Yeah,
German,
well,
and
it was great, it was brilliant.
Yeah, that must have been so interesting now as well, because you're meeting different people from a different background. And did you get to kind of speak to them much afterwards? Or?
You do, but there's always that transition of the language. It was difficult because obviously you're on there, you're having banter, and obviously playing the Germans as well. It was tough, and they're very physical guys, they're absolutely brilliant. To be fair, we should have won the game, but we didn't. But these Germans, mate, they know how to mix it. They know how to mix it, but they had some good sides. I mean, Darren Holt, who used to play for Norwich. He was in the army squad, and he was transitioned from the forces, went straight into play for Norwich. So it was difficult. We had good players around us, good players. I was a young lad, so you're playing on all these grounds that you never dream of. And then we played at Munich, and it was fantastic. Even though it was empty, it was surreal. It was brilliant. Instead of playing out here on our lovely pitch out here at Walsall Wood, you know, a lot of non-league players, this is a bonus for them. But playing on a council pitch on a Sunday, and you're rocking up and you're playing at Munich, and you're playing at, you know, all these athletic grounds, it was brilliant. And I couldn't change it for the world. It was great.
Oh, so that's an amazing experience.
Oh, it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
But I think it's a great thing what we do anyway, because you know, you could say you're in the army, but there's so many things, facilities that provide. I think it's fantastic around the world, and like I say, Norway and Germany are just two of the countries you mentioned. But it's fantastic that they give these guys that bit of time as well, because it's important as well.
You've been in the British forces, you've got your boxing, you've got your rugby, you've got your rowing, you've got all these sports. If you're good at something and you want to excel, and you do fancy being in the army, it's the best place because they'll encourage you and they'll put everything into you and they'll believe in you. And belief, I'll go back to that big word, belief, is a massive word, because some people won't believe in themselves. So, you know, my NCOs back in the day, they believed in something I had and they pushed me. They gave me everything positive, so it worked for me. Not saying it worked for everybody, but if you need an arm round you and you want to become a man, join the British Forces.
Like you said, some need that arm round them.
And I did.
Yeah, and like you said, the amount of people that have nurtured you, you know, it's got you where you are now, really.
Well, I'm quite lucky in the situation I'm in now. Obviously, I'm the chairman of a football club. They've got a good structure. There's 3 chairmen. There's Justin Hodgin, who's the main chairman of the first team. Ian Sylvester, we go back with the ladies, absolutely brilliant bloke. He does all he can for the girls' team. And then myself, we're lucky we all link and we all talk and we all get the right situations. It works for us. So at Walsall Wood, obviously I can only speak about present day.
Of course,
we are going all in the right direction. From all my junior teams in the academy to the girls' junior teams and their Wildcat system, which my wife runs, Claire. She's working hard to get that transition, and they're growing. We started off with 2 girls' teams, and now up to 8. So over a transition of 2 years, it's brilliant. And as a club as a whole, we're just going forward. It's brilliant.
And the club as well, like I said, the boys and the girls' side are excelling. It's also a lovely bar as well.
It's not too bad, is it?
Very friendly bar.
I probably spend too much time in there, though, to be honest. To be fair, that bar is brilliant. It's fantastic. This room in there particularly is a bit of our, we call this, it's our function room as such. But it's great, and you know, it's here to be used. All the kids get this free. All our teams get to use this free to their fundraising and things like that. But not enough people actually use it because they do their own little pockets. There's a lot of history in here. On this wall here itself behind us, there's a lot of paper cuttings all the way back from, you know, Bill Shaw, God bless him. He's one of our media guys. Most of his work's on there, and the staff here, they put this together themselves and they put it on.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant, it's fantastic. It's really good.
So many different kind of match reports on there.
Oh, it's great reading.
Yeah, it is.
But a lot of people think you've gone daft and you're still staring at the wall. And that's what happens.
I think people at this club, Brian, probably know you a little bit different than that.
Oh yeah, they do. Yeah. But, you know, I do obviously have a look now and again at Lee Stretton, great player, you know, Deeks and that, and you've got the Ropes. Andy Ropes up there, he's one of the oldest lads who he's representing Walsall Wood, and he'd stand in front of a JCB if anything happened to this place. He's a massive icon of this club. Lovely bloke, his brother's Luke Rope, obviously. So I'd love to get Luke involved more down the club, but he's a busy man, he's got his golfing as well. So, but we're lucky, we're very lucky, we're a small community and it works for us, it's great. We've got some fantastic volunteer coaches and okay, I'm not the only one who's representing my country, but there's Big Daz Copeland, there's a couple of other lads, and they've done the same thing, but I was lucky enough to play. So I'm not saying I'm the best player in the world, I could have learned a bit more. And, you know, a prime example, the coach has said to me one day, he says, you've got a big bum, bro, use it. And, you know, knock people out the way with your bum because that's what it's there for. And since that day, I'll do that, and most of the time I'm on my bum because I can't get back up and recover. But, you know, things change. And that.
Especially with age, Brian, honestly, I can appreciate that mate myself, to be fair. But well, before we go, Brian, one last kind of question with Walsall Wood. Obviously, you've mentioned that. What's the next step then for Walsall Wood?
That's a massive question.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the FA Cup first round coming. Is that something that possibly, I've spoken this before, but possibly there's a potential there? We can compete.
We're winning the VARs still. We can compete. We've got a good young squad with the right manager and the right staff behind him. Peter Tully used to play for Walsall. He's now come back as a player as well. And he's had the managerial aspect of it, so he can lead that example on the pitch. You know, I think there are a couple of players like have been really, really successful. Yeah. But as a club perspective as a whole, we need a lot of backing. Yeah. The chairman puts all his own money into this place, and it's difficult because we could be doing more as a community to make this club bigger, but that's the hardest thing. People look and say, oh, he'll put the money in, he'll put the money in. But they'll come to a point where the transition, we've all got to get involved. Maybe that could stop us progressing quicker than we should. But fingers crossed, with the right people on board, and I mean things like this are massive for us, with the podcasts and the girls and things like that. If we highlight what we're trying to achieve, maybe one day we will get a little bit more influx from sponsors. We've got loads of sponsors, it is doing boards outside the pitch, if you've noticed. But the more the merrier, because that, you know, that simple little donation goes a long way in our club. I mean, there's a lot to it, so I'm not going to bore you, but as Walsall Wood, to answer your question, we go in the right direction at our own pace. Yeah. We don't rather shoot the mark and pump everything we got into it and become so successful too quick, because it'll come back and bite us. Yeah. So over a progression, I think, we get there.
There's always that 5-10 year plan and that kind of thing.
I mean, we try and work on a 5-year plan. I think we're getting there. A couple of things we're a bit short of, but you know, sponsors are key for us. Yeah. Okay.
And like I said, the Baddies Ladies is huge.
It's great to have them there.
And obviously we'd like more Albion fans down here as well to come and support.
More the merrier.
Yeah.
Obviously they can experience our bar at the front.
Yeah,
it's brilliant to have the Albion Ladies here. Yeah. Fantastic, respectful girls as well. They always take time to speak to you. I've absolutely played with the Albion Vets a long time ago, so that's another bit of claim to fame. So that was good. But the girls, you know, they've been key for us here because they could have gone anywhere, they could have played anywhere. There was at Balmere last year, they could have gone into any other club, but they chose us this year because we wanted to get on a grass pitch. And there's not many resources now that allow, you know, ladies in the WSL to play on a grass pitch. Like this AstroTurf.
What I love as well, Brian, is that, I mean, Walsall would have red and white, and obviously the West Brom being blue and white, but Walsall would have actually said anything you want blue and white, you can do corner flags.
Definitely.
And that. And I think that's a lovely touch as well. Is that they're not coming in and saying you've got to have these facilities. It's almost like Walsall would just do what you want. You know.
If we had a bit more money spare in the pot, I'd like to have more Albion badges up. I'd like to have, but we rely on volunteers. A volunteer to go and change the corner flags. A volunteer to go and change the signage. If we had somebody in place that could come and swap things and do things, I think we'd be better at it. It's still a work in transition, we can do still a bit more because it's their home as well as ours for this season, so hopefully they prolong and they stay for the future. But I think we need a bit more blue and white. I'm a red and white man myself, but a bit more blue and white when the girls are here, I think that'll be appreciated by the girls and the fans, and maybe that may bring a bit more in, fingers crossed.
But it's great, I love that Walsall would have given the option, you know, like, do what you want. Yeah. If you want to change this, you can change that, and I think that's a really lovely touch from the club, to be fair.
And we'll keep doing it. If they keep still using our facilities and keep doing what they're doing and playing great football, I'm sure over time we'll probably get more people in the stands from a Walsall perspective as well, watching the ladies, and hopefully our first team ladies as well. So.
Brilliant. Well, I know you want to get back to your point.
Oh yeah, cheers.
Yeah, so I can see you going flat at the moment. So thank you for your time, Brian. Good luck for the this afternoon the Walsall ladies and for the rest of the season.
Okay.
Thanks for talking about your
Thank you.
time, mate.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much,
mate. Thanks, Floyd. Cheers.
Pal. Cheers, bud. Cheers, Kev.